Hello, everybody, and happy Friday. I hope you guys are doing well. Hi, Cheney. Nice to see you. So, guys, as you all know, it is Friday, and we are coming to you live with Crystal Coaching Connections, my video podcast, where we spend some time every week discussing health, wellness, and everything in between. The goal of the show is really to bring together our wellness as an integrative practice, fully exploring our well-being like the spokes of a wheel. There's multiple spokes that align to create oneness. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Crystal Beren. I am a health and wellness coach and a certified natural therapist that specializes in helping men and women to navigate and overcome stress and burnout naturally in order for them to reclaim their confidence and overall stress less. Essentially, I'm your guide to helping you find realignment. Today, I have with me my friend and former accountability partner while we were working together with Sarah, Cheney Daughtry. She's an integrative nutrition health coach that specializes in helping women heal their guts to regain their energy and mental focus and to overall feel better. So welcome, Cheney. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here today.
I know, I'm really happy. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, who are you? What are you doing? What brought you to this field of business? How did she become the gut health girl?
Oh my gosh, I know, right? So I've struggled with gut health myself for many years, and it all really boiled down to like all the stress and anxiety that I had gone through in my marriage. Very, mentally abusive. There was addiction involved. So going through kind of that phase of my life, I was able to pull out of it. And I feel like the body always pays its dues, right?
Oh, it does. Yes, the body keeps the score. The body keeps the score. I don't know if you've read the book by Gabor Mate. It's something.
Yes. Yeah. So it definitely paid me back tenfold. So I was in this super high stress, high anxiety relationship. I basically was in fight or flight mode for like 2 years. Mm-hmm. So once I got myself out of that, I found myself, in a safe space. It all just
your shit was all messed up, right? Everything
literally
messed up.
Like yeah. So I ended
literally the shit was messed up.
Literally. Yeah. Literally the shit was just coming out everywhere.
I freaking love it. I'm going to make sure that I'm checking on Facebook to see if we got anything going on at the same time. I want to make sure that people are seeing what we got going on.
Yes. Questions, all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, exactly. I got to make sure that we're really projecting ourselves live over here. Keep going.
So yeah, basically I ended up
I think we're live on Facebook only to me. I didn't do it.
No.
Hold on. I see it.
Okay.
Crystal's live now. Edit audience. Oh, please, Lord, let this work. Public. Yes. Okay, guys. So sorry. I totally messed that up. Okay, what did I say at the beginning of the podcast?
I know, to make sure that you went public.
I can't believe. Sorry, language. This is not for children. Oh my God, I swear, I'm telling you. Okay, so we're gonna go back. We're gonna continue talking. So, Cheney, basically, you were saying that you're specializing in gut health because you spent 2 years in a really shitty.
And happy
and now
Friday.
Hold on. Now everything. Technology.
It's the full moon. It's the full moon.
It has to be. It has to be. This is hilarious. I'm loving it. Again, it's going again. Is it a full moon?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't. Okay. So in order to come back to the world of Crystal and Cheney now, please, Cheney, tell me.
Oh my gosh. There's no mimosas involved. It's fine.
Are you sure there's no mimosas allowed?
I mean, I could have vodka in my water bottle. I feel like
we're...
I know.
We should have
today. It's fine. I know. That would be better.
You see, this is the I love live for these things because it really shows the natural progression of things. Anyway,
Like, stuff happens.
Let's go back to you. Let's
Yeah.
Tell me again about your gut health issues.
Yes, my gut health journey. Okay, so why I ended up being a gut health coach was, right, my own gut issues that I ended up developing after I came out of this very abusive, addictive relationship. And I was in fight or flight mode for like about 2 years, probably. So once I found myself, I pulled myself out of that situation. I got myself into a safe space. And once my body was like, oh, we're good, right? Like, we don't need to freak out anymore. We are protected. We are safe. And then it all just
went to hell.
Exactly. Went to hell. Yeah. Went down the shitter, literally. So,
and literally, I just want to add to that a lot of people don't realize is that when we start to heal our bodies, that's when, because your body is spending so much time protecting itself, you don't feel what the stress is doing to your whole body until you finally learn how to get down. But then when you get it down, that's when, like you said before, everything shit hits the fan, literally.
Yeah. Yeah. Because your body's so tense and it's like, no, I just need to protect. I need to protect, and then once it's like, oh, I can relax. Well, that's when everything kind of starts coming to fruition. And you're like, why am I having all these crazy things? Oh, right. Because 2 years ago, I went through this super stressful time. My body's just now relaxing from that. The body always pays its dues. So my due is gut issues. So I ended up getting leaky gut, candida. I have a bunch of food allergies, and it all just stemmed from this just chaotic life that I found myself in.
Because essentially before that stressful period of time in your life, you didn't have these issues.
No, I didn't have any issue. I wasn't allergic to anything. I could eat whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. My body was fine. I was still regular. I was, I was exercising. I wasn't eating bad, but I would go out, have Taco Bell and,
you could eat the things that you wanted to eat without having the restrictions of knowing that you actually had something wrong with your gut health that would basically say, you're not going to eat this.
Right. Yeah. So now it's like, I'm very diligent on what I'm eating. I eat, I really stick with like the low FODMAP foods, the foods that aren't going to upset my stomach anymore. I've become very sensitive to certain vegetables and fruits, and it's crazy the progression that it's taken.
So this is, you mentioned a word that I'm not very familiar with. It's not.
Yes.
You know where I'm going with this.
I do. Right? Yes. I figured. I was like, I'm gonna have to explain.
Yeah. So Cheney is actually like, she's somebody that I actually look up to you when it comes to this stuff, because I don't know very much about it. And I think that's, again, I just want to, I'm going to set it out there. That's the whole point of this podcast, is because nobody could be an expert at everything. And I really want people to know that their health journey really has so many different, like, it's my tree in the background. Like, it's got leaves, it's got branches, and there's so many different people that, take part in your health journey in general. So somebody like Cheney is super amazing to be able to like really get in there, like what the heck is going on, helping you guys with those elimination diets and stuff like that, and FODMAP. So talk to us. I'm a big one. I know about a lot of diets and stuff and a lot of different ways to eat, and the FODMAP thing always blew me away. So if you could tell our watchers, listeners, a little bit more about that, that would be super awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So FODMAP, it stands for fermentable, oligo monosaccharides and polyols. So I know, very fancy. What that means basically is that these are complex carbohydrates that are found in different types of fruits and vegetables. And the body just has a really hard time breaking them down. Okay. So when our body is unable to break down these sugars, then it leads to diarrhea, Sometimes it's constipation, right? Because everybody reacts differently.
Yeah.
My issue was diarrhea. If I ate something that my body couldn't handle, I would get diarrhea, right? A lot of people, when they eat something their body can't handle, they end up getting constipation. So, right, everybody reacts differently. This also causes bloating and gas and irritation, so inflammation.
You said something really, like, again, this could be like a complex carbohydrate that is technically good for you, you know, like it really, but again, it's so bio individual about how your body reacts to things. And I think that, you know, I love to bring that point out, is that not every way of eating is the right way of eating for every person.
Right. 100%. Yeah. I mean, I think it, and what I really like to dive into in my coaching is really figuring out what foods your specific body can eat and can't eat. Right.
So you help to demystify your clients' foods and their allergens and all that stuff. Like,
yeah. And I do like to start. I mean, what really helped me in my journey was a food allergy test. Because it, you know, I know, okay, for instance, right, I can eat garbanzo beans and know pretty instantly that my body is not, I'm not okay with garbanzo beans. Yeah. Right. But then there were other things that I was eating because my body would physically react to some foods. I was able to eliminate those pretty quickly, right? Because I'm like, oh, I ate that and that did not feel good, so I'm just going to leave it out, right? Yeah. But because of the leaky gut, there were things that I was eating that were irritating me and getting into my bloodstream because of the leaky gut. Okay. That were then causing inflammation, brain fog, migraines, headaches, you know, like all of these other things. So getting a food allergy test really helped me eliminate, like, you know, a lot of things. Obviously, it's not an all-inclusive, you know, food allergy test, but, you know, I was like eating eggs and cane sugar and papaya and like all these things almost daily, right? Because papaya is a super good enzyme. So I'm eating, well, I'm allergic to, like, you know, and I'm like,
so you were literally poisoning yourself, like just a little bit at a time. Like, hey, right. You feel like shit.
Yeah. And I was like, you know, I'm eating good. You know, I was like super fit. I was working out a lot.
And this is the crazy thing, is that on our journey to health and wellness like this, like there are so many things that you don't even realize. Like you said something before, oh my God, I'm going to come back to it, but like you called it out, you said it, and we think that we're doing the right things for our bodies, and essentially you're not.
Yeah, you could not be. Right.
Exactly. Yeah. So what kind of allergy test did you go through? A private clinic, or did you go through a doctor? Because that's something like, I'll be honest, I have a lot of allergies, and unfortunately, yes, we have free healthcare, but we don't have the same level of time that you're allowed to spend with the doctor unless you're going through an integrative practice that's private. And for us, getting appointments with allergy specialists, like I literally had a doctor just tell me, well, stop eating the things that you feel uncomfortable with. Like, you don't need an allergy test. So how did you go about?
I mean, yeah, that's right. I mean, that's a good way to go with it.
Oh yes, right? It was leaky gut, because leaky gut. Okay, so yes, leaky gut. Again, that's another thing for our gut health, right? And so leaky gut, you might not be having allergies. You might have leaky gut because of all of the other
of it, right. So you may not actually be allergic to these specific foods,
but because your stomach is just not doing what it's supposed to.
Right. Yeah. So in leaky gut, what happens is your intestines end up getting inflamed, right? So you have the little villi, right, in your intestine. Okay. They're the ones that absorb the food, and then not the food. They absorb all the nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, and the nutrients, right, when the food gets broken down, right? So all these, they absorb them, and then they go through, you know, into your bloodstream. And that's how you get the vitamins and the minerals and like all these amino acids, right, everywhere. Okay, so what happens when your intestines are inflamed, there becomes gaps in the villi, right? So then larger particles of food, toxins, all the things that are supposed to be excreted out
through the intestines.
They end up going through the intestines into the bloodstream. Therefore, you have all these other crazy reactions. Maybe, I had eczema, and you get skin irritations. You can get brain fog, like super confused, just like this really fuzzy head feeling, migraines, headaches, joint pain, muscle aches. I've heard people get ringing in the ears because of food allergies. I mean, and it's crazy. So it all just made sense once I got my food allergy test, and I was like, oh my God, right? Like these things, like, yes, I react to these. So 100% my body, like, I can't handle those specific foods, right? But then because I was so limited on my foods anyway, because my body was reacting, I was eating almost the same thing every single day.
Okay, so you weren't having any diversity in the types of food eating, which is
not good. Because I was so limited, right? But I was so limited. I was like, I don't know what else. Plus, I had candida, so then I wasn't eating. I couldn't have oatmeal, and I couldn't have starches, right? So to kill the candida. So I was like eating eggs. I'm like, what else can I eat? Like,
so you weren't
eating eggs for breakfast
either. There was just so much that wasn't happening.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So it was a crazy, crazy time. But yeah, I mean, it's just so once I've eliminated food that I know maybe I wasn't active because I was acting. And then those are the ones that, were probably causing the brain fog and the headache and migraines and things like that.
So which is basically what brought you to taking this journey into becoming a health coach yourself, to help other women maybe not have to go through the same thing that you went through.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's so hard and confusing when you're in the middle of it and you feel like you've tried everything, nothing is working. Why do I still feel bad? Why am I still having these gut issues? I'm eating low FODMAP, or I'm eating this way, or I'm eating that way. Like I eat salads and I eat all these things. Like, why am I still having issues? I wish that I had someone back then to be like, cook your vegetables. Like, don't eat a salad then. Like, I rarely eat salads because my body can't break down the raw foods.
Yeah.
So I cook almost all of my vegetables because they're easier to digest. To someone telling me that, I've been like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like, just have a warm salad. Put all the ingredients that you would put in a salad and just toss it in the pan for, a couple minutes, let them wilt down a little bit. There you go. You know what I mean? Just like, so yeah, like discovering all of this stuff for myself really led me into like, okay, if I'm feeling like this, if I'm struggling with this, there has to be other people out there who have been through, maybe a similar situation as me, divorce, now I'm a single mom. So now I'm trying to figure all this out.
Yeah. And you're trying to figure out
and I'm trying to figure out, right. So now I am on the other side. I'm healed. I healed my gut. I don't have any other crazy symptoms anymore like I used to. I've really been able to lessen my anxiety, my depression. I don't get migraines anymore. No more headaches, no more brain fog. So all of that is gone. No more digestive issues,
This is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, okay, so now I'm on the other side and I'm like, people don't need to feel like that, right? Let's all feel like this other side of the rainbow. Right?
I feel the same way about my coaching practice, because I'm just like, if only I knew when I was 25 what I know now.
Yeah,
like
totally.
15 years ago. And I'm like, I went through 15 years of shit and hell and like not knowing what I know now. Like it's insane. So yeah, I really feel you when you say that. And I love, I talk a lot about what we put in our bodies and how our bodies support us. And this supports our mental health as well as our physical health. And what you're saying here is just, it's exactly that. Like, and biodiversity, biodiversity and bioindividuality. Like we both learned this in school. And I think that we forget and people don't know that what's good for the goose is not always good for the gander. I don't know if you know that expression, right? But like at the end of the day, every person is super individual. And so I feel like that's the kind of steps that you take with your clients. Like you analyze, okay, like you start with that allergy test and then you move through there to do testing. Do you do a lot of like elimination diet styles? I'm not a fan of the word diet. I'm sure you too, but you know, I have a client that I just put her on an elimination diet specifically. And this is not a long-term thing. I don't want her on it for a year. I want her on it for a month. That's it. That's all.
Right.
To figure out what's happening in your body. And so like, is that kind of what you do with your clients?
Yes, absolutely. So it's very individualized. You know, we come in, figure out, okay, what are you struggling with? What are your symptoms? Like, what are your goals? And then it's, how are we going to get there? Right. So, you know, one of my clients, we had to eliminate very specific food items, you know, and we really quickly found that when she eliminated sugar, all of her symptoms went away.
Oh, like just processed sugar or any kind of sugars?
Yeah. So I only do natural sugars. So honey's, maple syrup, a tiny bit of coconut sugar. That is higher on the FODMAP spectrum, but so a little bit of honey and maple syrup. I mean, that's basically what I use. That's it. So I do have a sweet tooth. You know, I'm not saying, you know, no sweets, right? But then
recipes. Oh, I have to find those recipes because you gave me some really good recipes. I really, you're good in the sweet shop world.
Thank you. Yeah. So it was like the refined processed sugar. And once we were able to take that out of her diet, she's like, all my symptoms are gone.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, then. So there you go. Like we found our problem, you know, and luckily for her, we found it rather quickly, like within the first 2 weeks.
But then it gives you the opportunity to really work on the rest of the baggage, right? Like,
right. So then it's like, okay, why right now we're really getting deep into like, why were you overeating all of these things? You know, so it turns into like more of like a life coaching, which I love too, because, you know, it starts in the gut, right? Everything's connected, right? And your gut controls, you know, 80% of your immune system, you know, it controls, your mood, and all of these different things. So it's like, let's start here, right? Something that's really tangible and you kind of have control over, right? You can have control over the food you're putting in your body. You can have control what you buy at the store. So let's get all that. And then once you've kind of figured that out and you feel comfortable with the food, now it's like, okay, what got you here in the first place? You know, and like, why are you overeating sugar? Why are you grabbing these things when you're feeling stressed? You know, it's kind of like we get into the nitty gritty, which I really love.
I love it. No, that totally makes sense. I like that. I like that roundabout approach, right? Figure out the root cause of like the actual pain that you're having, and then figure out the other root cause, because, you know, I mean, when you got out of that relationship, right? The whole time that you were in that relationship, I don't think you realized that you were in a bad relationship. And so sometimes when we come out of those things afterwards, like I didn't know that I was in a bad work relationship. Like I spent, you know, 15 years, you know, and then following through those limiting beliefs and figuring out like, why am I thinking this way? Why am I doing things this way? And so I love how you focus on one thing and then you move on to the other thing. And I think that really makes a huge difference in people's lives.
Yeah, because then it makes it a more sustainable change. Instead of these fad diets of like, oh, I'm going to try keto. Oh, I'm going to try paleo. Oh, I'm going to go low carb. Oh, you know what I mean? It's like, those aren't sustainable. You cannot live your whole entire life in this one specific box.
Yeah.
You know, it's finding out what you can eat and what's going to make you feel good. And that's going to look different for everybody.
Yeah.
So I love discovering that kind of stuff too, with my clients and being like, what makes you feel good? You know, what fruit do you want to eat today? Yeah. Right. It's like, these are the top fruits, you know, for all, you know what I mean, that have like the best antioxidants and for gut health and blah, blah, blah. But if you don't feel like eating berries, you know what I mean? What do you feel like eating? You feel like eating pineapple? Do you feel like eating an orange? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, just getting them to really be more mindful about their own bodies too, really bringing it in and being like, okay, what do I feel like?
And I think we forget to be mindful too with the things
Yeah.
that we like, right? Because we want to be like everybody else. And we want, when we go, I know we're not really frequenting restaurants very often anymore with this
Yeah.
COVID thing, but like when you go to a restaurant, nobody wants to think about like what they want to eat at that time, right? They want to just be able to have that freedom. But I think that what you do with people is really important. And I've seen a lot of your journey too. Like, you prepare yourself before you go out. You know that if and it's not so much like, this is not a diet. This is actually a lifestyle that you have to live because of the actual repercussions of bringing these foods back into your life. You know what your body is going to do. It is not a question of being on a diet and you choose not to do it. No, it's learning what you like. I know I can't eat cherries. Otherwise I'll have an allergic reaction. So I'm not going to eat anything with cherries.
Right.
Point final. And what I like about this is that you help to teach your people like how to feel comfortable in those situations. Your sweet tooth, I love how you teach. Yeah, I have a sweet tooth, but I'm not using processed sugar. Well, this is how I do it to make it work for me. It's really good. Cheney, this is like total nuggets of information. And I love the information, especially about the FODMAP, about the leaky gut, because it's something that we don't talk about.
Yeah.
For you, you talked about the candida that you had, the candida growth. Do you have any experience with probiotics and stuff like that? Like how, is that something that helps or hinders your clients that have serious gut issues?
Yeah, I think that probiotics are fabulous. Also going through all of this, I was working with a naturopathic doctor with this. So I wasn't doing it completely on my own.
No, that's another great point.
Yeah.
The coaching connections. It's all about the connections and the people that you have in your health network that are supporting you.
Yeah. So I was like getting to more of the root cause quickly, I guess, because I was working with this naturopathic doctor. So my allergy test was through him. He was able to read it to me, and being like, okay, like this is what's happening. And, he was really able to like pinpoint lots of stuff for me. So, but I forgot what you asked me. We went on a tangent.
Probiotics.
Probiotics. Okay. So he, because I was working with the naturopathic doctor, he suggested that I take, I'm actually switched between 3 different probiotics.
Okay. Yeah, because we have different bacterial strains, right?
Exactly. So there's one that I take that is just your basic, the one that you could find at, the store, right? At Whole Foods, at whatever. So, if you are getting a probiotic, I do recommend getting them in the refrigerator case. Your bacteria are more likely to be alive if they're cold. So I do one of those a month. And then I switch to a soil-based probiotic. And then I do that for a month. And then because of the candida, he also put me on one that actually has yeast in it, but this yeast fights the bad yeast. Yeah. So I do that one for a month. So I alternate probiotics.
That's actually a really good piece of advice.
Yeah. Yes. So that has super duper helped me heal. Just having the different kinds of probiotics. What I did find when I was in the beginning of this healing process, that too many, right? Because my gut was already messed up. So too many probiotics made me have problems too.
Yeah. So you got to
being super mindful. Yes. So if you're, and if you don't necessarily want to take a probiotic pill, yogurt is a fabulous place to get really good probiotics. Yeah. Really good protein, that you can take. So don't do both, especially if you're in the beginning of this gut health journey. Just choose one.
I don't know where I said it the other day, but I said it. Oh, yes. I said it when I was talking about gut health the other day in another group. Don't get the ones packed with sugar. No sugar. Yeah. Sugar-free. No sugar. Like none of that crap that's in there.
Right. So like just a plain Greek yogurt is really good, super beneficial. You throw some berries on there, and it could be just like a really delicious snack or breakfast or dessert, throw some honey on it. So that's a really good place to start if you don't have the option to buy because they are expensive.
They are. But again, when
You
you're
know,
starting this journey, I think it's important to start with a good foundation, right? And like sometimes, getting that alignment, picking
mhm.
one thing that you're going to start to focus on, even from a financial aspect, right? Like
Right.
already when you're working with a coach, there's a financial investment. Let's not talk about it is an investment in yourself.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Then the secondary investment is, things like probiotics, and yes, they can be a little bit pricey. Sometimes I mean, I had to do a series of BioK following a procedure, to get everything back up again, right? And
Right.
you're talking about $40 for 6 bottles of BioK.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah, it adds up.
it adds up. It's an
Yeah.
investment if we're really making that commitment to our health, because it's not
Mhm.
something that's going to happen for the rest of your life. And this is,
Right.
we're taking this investment of time, this investment of energy, this investment into our health, and it might last 3 months or 6 months, but then you have the tools to be able to
Mhm.
move forward again in the future.
Right. And then you're not going to slip back into, bad habits. Or if you do happen, right, because we're all human, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
slip up and be like, like I ate, for instance, like posted in my group too the other day, I was like, I ate king cake
Yeah,
because, I'm in New Orleans, freaking Mardi Gras. King cake is everywhere. Well, my weakness is king cake.
yeah,
I love a king cake. And you know what? I ate a piece or two
yeah. And it's
and I
okay.
enjoyed it. My stomach didn't like it, but it was like intentionally like, I'm going to eat this and it's going to be freaking delicious. And I know that maybe tomorrow, or I'll have bloat today and then maybe tomorrow I'll wake up with some digestive problems. But that was it. It didn't carry on anymore. It didn't turn into like,
It's a conscious decision that you make. And what I
right.
tell my clients is that sometimes food for the body, like, it's important. You gotta nourish your body, but you gotta nourish your soul too.
Yeah.
And that's a really good balance. So yeah, as long as you
Right.
know what the repercussions are going to be, and I think that having that good final that good background of knowledge is super important. I love this.
Right.
Shane,
Yeah.
I
But then
don't know if you
even,
had anything else that you wanted to add. Oh, did I lose you? Did I lose you? Are you frozen? Oh, are you
you
there?
back? Okay. Yeah.
I don't know who froze. I don't know whose
I
internet
know.
it
I don't
was.
know.
I was
My
just
internet is horrible in this house. So it's
Yeah.
probably me.
Well, I was just going to ask you if you had anything else that you wanted to add to our conversation today.
Um, no, I feel really good about it. Hopefully I gave some, yeah. And if anybody obviously has questions, comment, I will be on the lookout for any more questions or
Yeah,
yeah.
100%. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining me today. This was phenomenal. I know I always learn from you. I enjoy our conversations. We had a really good laugh today.
I know. Thank you. I needed that because my morning was rough.
I needed that too. I've been like on the go since 5:30 this morning, and I needed this just, I don't know, this feel good feeling and to be with a friend. And I missed you actually. I really
I
did.
know.
I
I
know.
know. We used to talk every like couple days.
Yeah, exactly. And then we went to
yeah.
But
I know.
I know it's crazy, but thank you again so much. And I welcome anybody who is interested in learning more about your gut health. Please feel free to reach out to Cheney. You can reach out to me. I can get you in contact with her however you want. Catch this replay on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to work on getting subscribers. I'm not there yet. Eventually, eventually the podcast.
They'll come. Yeah.
What?
I said they're coming.
It'll come. I know you guys are watching live. So again, if you guys have any questions, comments, please feel free. Drop them in the comment box. Thank you, Shani. Have a beautiful weekend. I really appreciate you coming on the show today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right. Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye.
Bye.